Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's your boys, Mike and Mish, with the Mike and Mish Show. What up, Mike?
Yo, what is up, Kyle? We are back. I feel like it's been an eternity since I've been in this chair. I really do. This was a long weekend for me.
Well, as you all know, that Mike and I are in the Army, and Mike did all kinds of Army shit this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to talk about all that because of OPSEC and all that bullshit, but it's been a long weekend for old Michael. I had to remind him 15 times yesterday that it was Tuesday. He kept thinking it was Monday.
I kept thinking it was Monday because for whatever reason, drill needed to bleed into the weekday. Because you know what? I was low crawling in the rain and the mud, throwing practice grenades and shooting M4s and running around and ACFT. Man, it was.
Do you shoot the pistol at all?
I did not. No,
dude. The new pistol, whatever it is, I don't even know it. I think it's Sig Sauer makes it. That gun is so fucking goddamn accurate and so smooth. When I didn't even have my new glasses, so my prescription was all fucked up. And the last few years, as I've entered my 40s, my scores have gone kind of down.
My hearing test went down.
but yeah, but even with the shitty prescription and dumbass eyes, I went out there with that new gun, and I think we only shot. I don't know. I think it's 3 mags of 10 now. I think you shoot 10, you drop, you move up, you like move like 5 steps forward, you shoot up, and then you move 5 steps forward again with a new mag, and then they pop up again. I think it's only 30 shots. I could be wrong, but I only missed one. So
that's nice.
Hey, listen, for a 40-year-old with shitty eyes, that's not bad. So I immediately was Googling that gun. I was like, I got to buy that shit and put it in my fucking house for sure.
Yeah, definitely do.
You got to get your hands on one of those, Mike. We have an awesome show tonight. There's a doubleheader for the BKFC this weekend, starting in Orlando on Friday and then bleeding into Thailand Saturday morning for one of the biggest events in I want to say combat sports history. It's absolutely insane. We're going to bring on the CEO of BKFC Asia in a minute, right after we read our sponsors. But Nick Chapman will be here, so pay attention. Mike, who do we got for sponsors?
Oh, my God. Hey, check it out. I had drill this weekend, and I'm going to tell you, I wish that we had a good place to go get faded up and look clean around here, because I'm going to tell you what, the best fades and shaves come from Cape Coral, Florida. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, goddamn right, Mike.
They come from Cape Coral, Florida. And you know where they come from? The Shave Parlor, barber lounge and studio. You don't even understand the kind of fades that they give here. Godly. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. Certified shave and fade masters and beard specialists, Jay, Omar, Heather, and Naughty Nate. They're fixing up some good haircuts down at 101 Del Prado Boulevard in Cape Coral, Florida. Go check them out and get yourself looking fresh.
You know what? Now. And Naughty Nate, if there's ever a weekend to get yourself hooked on some bare knuckle fighting, it's this one. Start in Orlando and go into Thailand. God damn it. Naughty Nate will stay naughty until he jumps on board and gets with us in this bare knuckle world. And if you are watching the bare knuckle world, you better go over to BK Bet Shark at BK Bet Shark on Instagram. Pay the $50 a month and just listen. Just take his bets. Anything he says to put money on, just listen to the man. It's worth the $50. If you like money, follow the BK Bet Shark. Get on DraftKings. Get on betonline.ag. Whatever you want to bet on, get on there. Listen to the Bet Shark. Win yourself some money. The guy is batting like 900 right now with the fucking 2023 year.
It's unreal.
It is unreal. He just rakes money every event. And I promise you, I am not bullshitting you. He's given us some hot tips, and we have stacked some cash ourselves. And last sponsor, Michael.
We have Dynamic Life, weight loss, sexual health, anti-aging. Dynamic Life was founded by a team of medical professionals with over 25 years of experience in regenerative medicine, anti-aging, weight loss, and sexual wellness. Take back control of your life now. Go to www.livedynamic, that's live without an E, livdynamic.com, and become a patient in just 20 seconds. And check out the Dynamic Life Instagram page at LIVDYNAMIC, Live Dynamic with no E. Live with no E. Live Dynamic. Do it now. Get on there and check it out.
Thank you guys for helping our show out as we grow. The sport grows and everybody grows together. And God damn it, we got some huge fights this weekend and none bigger than what's happening Saturday in Thailand. Let's go ahead and bring on the CEO of BKFC Asia. He's going to give us the scoop on what the hell's actually going on over there right now in preparation for this week and what we should expect on Saturday. Nick Headhunter Chapman. What's up, buddy?
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
We're doing, we're always doing good, Nick. And especially on a week like this when we have things to do on Friday and Saturday, thanks to the BKFC. Life's good for a fan like us.
Life's good for a promoter like me at the moment.
So, like I was saying, I mean, we every week we don't really we don't book show guests like weeks out. We usually do it like the weekend before the week because we never know what's really going to be going on that week. But we did know that this Saturday, you, David Feldman, you guys somehow have pulled together the two greatest of their generation, probably of all time in their sport, and two guys that maybe nobody thought they would ever see fight are stepping in there Saturday, Buakaw and Saenchai. Can you talk a little bit about the mood over there in Thailand right now, just a few days out from this, and like just how exactly were you able to pull this pairing off with these two guys with decades of fights under their belt?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. So first of all, I mean, I can tell you now that the hype and the buzz around this fight in this country is massive. It is all over the forums. It's all over all the pundits. Everyone's talking about it. I mean, we got a huge venue and it's sold out the whole VIP section in just half a day. I mean, we're talking $750 per seat ringside. That's pretty big money here in Thailand. Everything's cheaper here. We sold them in no time. So we're still selling tickets now. We just opened up some more space so we can put more standing in. So, I mean, the hype is huge. As for getting it to happen, I mean, look, people have been trying to make this fight happen for years, and it's been on everybody's lips for so long. There's so many intricacies around each fighter, management, trainers, then there's their friendship and everything. It's crazy. There's sponsors. It's a real tough nut to crack. But before I could even get to that stage, I had to get David Feldman on board. And there's one thing I've learned about Mr. Feldman. It's just say to him, Dave, apparently this isn't possible. We can't make this happen. Like Dave's like, yes, we fucking will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dave's like that.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, just challenge the man and he'll make things happen. So we had a long discussion. And yeah, I mean, we just went for it. He just said, right, Nick, let's get this done no matter what it takes. And he's been just incredible. It takes a visionary like David Feldman for something like this to even be possible. But then to put David with me, I've got the connections, I've got the negotiating skills, I've got the contacts, I've got the ability to get these two in the ring. And then we've got Dave with the resources to support the platform and the vision. And yeah, it just happened.
It's really wild. And like the accolades of these two guys, like I said, for those who are not too familiar, I'm going to throw, I put a little ticker at the bottom here, just with some of their stuff. These guys, between the two of them, 656 pro fights, 567 wins. Can you guys even fucking fathom? Can you even fathom them goddamn numbers? 656 fights between the two of them, 567 wins. Over 30 world titles. I was counting and I lost count. And I was like, you know what? It's over 30. So let's just call it that.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. Let me ask you, would you agree in the world of Thai kickboxing, these guys are 1A and 1B, right? Like it depends on who you talk to, who the greatest of all time is. They're going to say one of those two names and there's really no other name that they would say, right?
Absolutely. This is exactly the point that it's been on everyone's lips for like a decade now. Who would win at Buakaw and Saenchai on a level playing field? Because you can argue Buakaw's bigger and stronger. So yeah, but then Saenchai's used to dealing with much bigger, stronger guys, and he is just an absolute wizard. So the question has always been like, who is the better fighter or who is the number one? So we're about to find out in literally just 2 days' time.
It's just like, I was trying to like think. Me and Mike, we consider ourselves like combat sport connoisseurs, right? And I was trying to think of when a time in any combat sport, boxing, MMA, anything, where decades long dominating athletes
Right.
were put into a ring to fight each other after dominating their sport for so damn long. And honest to God, I couldn't come up with one. I really couldn't.
The closest you'll get to this, to understanding the magnitude of this fight, is Mayweather Pacquiao. That's the closest you'll get. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely historic. There's nothing else like it, in my opinion.
It's absolutely nuts. You brought up the size difference. Now I'm going to let Mike talk eventually here, but that is one thing that, like, the people that we have talked to, that is one thing that people, well, Buakaw's too big for him. But can you please explain to them that, like, Saenchai has made a living off of fighting guys that are, 6-7 inches taller than him in a weight class above him. Weight and size doesn't matter to a guy like this, right?
Right. Okay. This is a great point. So here's the first thing. Buakaw usually fights at around 72. Saenchai fights obviously a bit less, but at this precise moment in time, Buakaw is actually under 68.5. He's lower than he's supposed to be for the fight, and Saenchai is actually above it. So Saenchai's walking around eating food and stuffing his face online and telling people, he's only got to cut a little bit. So yeah, we brought it down to 68.5 because Saenchai's walking around at 69.5 or just around that weight. So Buakaw has only come down a few kilos difference. But here's the interesting point. Putting anyone at Saenchai's weight against Saenchai is almost a mismatch in itself. You have to up the odds to make it a fair fight. So in comes Buakaw. But a lot of the real high-level Muay Thai fighters and trainers and people in this country that know about Muay Thai all think Saenchai is going to win because he's just too skillful. So what I love about it is we've balanced it out with the weight. So they're both coming to 68.5, and we're going to make sure Buakaw doesn't overdo it coming back in on the day. So it's going to be even. You've got Saenchai, who's got a professional boxing record of 5-0. His hands are better than Buakaw's, no doubt about it. He's fought Kar Chuek, or Muay Baran, as you might know it, way more than Buakaw, which is like roped hands. So he's used to taking hard punches. He is faster, he's quicker, he's more skillful. His fight IQ is way above anyone else's. His reaction times is just incredible. But then you've got Buakaw, who's an out-and-out beast and a master of his art in himself. So from my perspective, knowing both of these fighters, this is a very even fight.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I was going to say, we're talking about them fighting each other, right? And we had put out a post, I think it's about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where after I messaged you on Facebook asking about the special rules, and you guys came out with a video explaining it. And I have that video, so I'm going to play it right now, and then we can go over the rules of the fight and how it may or may not help each guy, as opposed to just basic bare knuckle rules. So here we go.
So many people are asking, what is bare knuckle Thai? Bare knuckle Thai is a new innovation in combat sports brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. So the rules are based on traditional Muay Thai, but with a bare knuckle twist. Bare knuckle Thai rules are as follows. Fighters compete in a BKFC squared circle. Fighters obviously compete bare knuckle. Fights are scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds, exactly the same as BKFC rules currently. There's 1 minute interval between each round. It is vital that we determine a winner. So in the case of a draw after 5 rounds, we will go into a sudden death round.
This fight will continue!
During the fight, fighters are allowed to kick. Fighters can punch. Fighters can use elbow strikes. Fighters can also use knee strikes. Spinning attacks are allowed. Fighters can use the clinch, but only with the intention of attacking. The clinch is only permitted for 3 seconds. Sweeps and throws are not allowed. Stalling of the action is not allowed. Strikes to the back of the head or the spine are not allowed. Each match includes 1 referee and 3 judges. Fights will be scored on the 10-point must system. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Fighters cannot be saved by the bell in any round. So we have created this new fighting style to be fast, furious, and we guarantee non-stop action.
well.
This I'm telling you right now, this is maybe the most interested I've been in a fight in a very, very fucking long time. And like you brought up the kicks in the knees of Buakaw earlier, and you talked about how Saenchai's hands are better than Buakaw's kicks and knees. For those who are not familiar, just go on YouTube and just go watch some videos before this weekend. Go watch some videos on both of these guys and get an idea of what the hell you're about to see here. But I wanted to ask you, Nick, the one rule that is taken out of this fight that Saenchai has made a living off of sweeps and trips and throws. That dude just ragdolls people every single time he's in the ring. Do you think that that rule being taken away from him is going to affect him greatly against a guy like Buakaw, or is he just that smart and that his IQ is that high that even though you're taking away one of his major strengths, it really isn't going to make that much of a difference? What are your thoughts on that?
Wow. Okay. So part of the deal was because Saenchai is a slightly smaller fighter, we did give him a say in the rules. So he has had a say. He actually chose to reduce the clinch because obviously Buakaw is going to be slightly taller and he's much more nimble and he wants to use the range and distance and movement in and out style. I think that's what I'm thinking. That's what he does. Now, interestingly, so I said to Mr. Feldman at the beginning, we shouldn't change the rules. Muay Thai is just great. But he said, nah, we got to change it a bit because he's had a lot of feedback. And you know what David Feldman's like? He wants fast paced. He wants action. So we've only got 2-minute rounds. Therefore, if we keep the sweeps in, it takes so much time to bring them back up and reset them. You're losing so much time. And Dave wants action. So we've removed the sweeps for that reason. But let's not forget, okay, we do know that Saenchai is excellent at sweeps. Okay, they're almost like a get out of jail free card for Saenchai when he's in trouble. But let's not forget, you get 2 warnings before you actually lose a point. And Saenchai is very, very smart. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him use those 2 warnings before, if he gets in trouble. Now, as for, do I think it's a disadvantage for Saenchai? In a way, yes. I think Saenchai would be better off having the sweeps, but that's not the rule set. So he's going to have to find a way around that. Now, last point on this same rule condition is that, let's not forget, we're in a circular ring. So it's not like you can get trapped in corners here. Saenchai's got the movement. He's got the speed. He's got the agility to be able to circle out. And if you watch any of Saenchai and Buakaw's training, Buakaw will only ever get the better of Saenchai when he backs him into a corner. So it's going to be fast. It's going to be explosive. The sweeps are out, although I would expect we're going to see 1 or 2. Yeah, I mean, it's just another interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I noticed when you put that video out, and then when you had sent the rules to me and Mike, that's one of the things that I noticed. I'm like, ooh, that's taking away a weapon that he has in his arsenal that is going to be interesting. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think we're going to see a cartwheel kick out of the man himself?
I'd be very surprised if we don't, dude. I mean, it's he created that kick. Yeah.
It's unreal. It's real. It's like straight out of Tekken for sure. That motherfucker, and he is credited for inventing that cartwheel kick. I don't know. I didn't fact check that. I don't know if he actually did, but if he did, that shit's been used in every fucking video game.
Oh yeah,
and every martial art in the world since then. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say too is, I wonder. After this event happens, if some of these rules, because Mike and I had been talking about how the BKFC is in their 5th year of existence now. And when the UFC came in 1993, there was a very slim rule set, right? And as the years went on, they tweaked things and they changed some things about their rules to make it more interesting and more safe for the fighters. But I think that spinning stuff like spinning back fists could be a part of the actual BKFC.
Yeah.
And I think Superman punches and spinning back fists could be something that they could think about adding to their sport. And maybe they see a little bit of this shit this weekend and they go eyes open, you know?
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, I mean, excuse me. I love the rule set of BKFC as it is. And I know David Feldman wasn't a huge fan of the spinning attacks. But I explained to him that, you know, we got to keep some of it in, and he's looked them up and went, actually, yeah, we'll keep them in. So who knows? You might be right. You might be onto something there.
Were Buakaw and Saenchai aware that the rule changes were going to take place, or was it something you just kind of surprised them with? Like, hey, we know that Buakaw fought traditional BKFC rules the first fight, but this time we're going to change it up for you guys.
Obviously, I spoke to Dave about getting the fight to happen. Then I went to speak to them too about the fight happening, and then we spoke to them and we communicated with them on the rule set. So, like I say, we give Saenchai a say. Buakaw just went, yeah, whatever. And Saenchai, we said, look, there is a size difference. What if you could change one thing about the rule set? What would it be? And he said, I'll reduce the clinch because obviously, yeah, he said he's going to be too strong for me. I think that would be an advantage. So, yeah. But other than that, myself and David Feldman created this new rule set because we want to repackage this and make this a really fast-paced, exciting, striking style that we can potentially launch in 2024.
So like a straight up BKFC Muay Thai league.
Yeah, that's an exclusive. You've heard it from me. I've had permission to be able to talk a little bit about this. So it's definitely something myself and Mr. Feldman are discussing now.
Oh man,
that's very cool.
Like like you said, you called him a visionary earlier, and that's a perfect. Like he is the guy that brought bare knuckle back legally in the United States after an 11-year war to get it done, and now he's getting all these states are starting to legalize it. They got a unified set of rules here in the United States, but they're branching out and they're finding guys like yourself that also have a vision, but you're in a different area of the world where maybe just traditional stand-up bare knuckle boxing doesn't make too much sense over there in that sense, that in that section of the world. So man, that's fucking awesome. And is this weekend kind of like the litmus test, would you say?
Absolutely. So I love what you just said. First of all, David Feldman, I could not be happier working with someone like him. I mean, I've been a businessman and I've been in combat sports my whole life, but I've always found that everyone I work with, they're limiting me, they're capping me, and I don't have limitations. There's nothing I cannot do. And I work with Mr. Feldman, we talk, and he's like, Nick, get it done. And I'm like, fuck, I love this man. He just literally has this crazy visionary mindset, and it just enables me to really go for it. So we run the BKFC here. Everybody absolutely loves it. It's been really well received. But in Thailand, obviously, we're in the home, the mecca of Muay Thai, which is kickboxing in its rawest form. I mean, we're not comparing it to kickboxing and such, but you know what I mean. And I said to Dave, look, we can carry on with the bare knuckle, the BKFC here. It won't be a problem. We'll still do well. But if you want to take this thing to a whole new level, we need to get these guys in, and we need to consider a bare knuckle Thai. So yeah, this is the litmus test this weekend, and who better to do it with than Buakaw and Saenchai?
I love it. I love it. And you kind of already have like a rule set. I mean, if it works this weekend and you just carry on, the BKFC Thai fights don't have sweeps, and they don't have more than 3-second clinches. It's in a circle ring. It's 2-minute rounds. It is a different type of a Thai kickboxing fight that people are not used to, and it's like it's launching a whole new thing for people that have been used to something else for fucking 100 years.
Exactly that. I think it's time to step into the future. We're not detracting or moving away from the traditional art of Muay Thai. We love it, we respect it. But look, there's a big wide world out there, and they want to see something new. They want to see something faster and exciting. And I think in 2024, you're going to see a whole new platform coming out. Yeah.
And just to be clear, that's the only fight on this card by that rule set.
Absolutely. All the others are standard bare knuckle rules. Yeah, BKFC rules.
Okay, because you're going to say, Kyle, there's 2 title fights on this card also. So I was wondering, they're going to be traditional BKFC rules, which makes sense here because one of the fights, which we can bring up now, if we'll move on. Kyle, you ready to move on to the next fight?
I definitely want to talk to him about this.
So the next fight that I'm going to bring up is the female fight, which originally was, and we can stop right here and just talk about this real quick. It was supposed to be Denman versus Hart, which I personally was so excited to see. I'm very sure that Kyle was too, along with many other fans out there. And then we know that Britain went and fought and injured her hand. Just give us a little rundown about that whole series of events there and how you guys reacted to that. And
can I tell you before you go, Mike, before you go, Nick, can I? And I think I could speak for Nick for Mike on this.
Mm.
The Poe Denman Britain Hart announcement confused a lot of us.
Yeah.
And here's why. Britain was the 115-pound champion in the United States. Fanny Palumpi was the 115-pound champion in Thailand, but she's fighting Poe Denman, who just fought Ty Emery at, I thought, 125 pounds. So I was like, what is going on here? Why isn't she fighting Fanny? So now that I just added that little sprinkle in there, go ahead and run with it, Nick. Let us know what the hell was going on there.
Okay, I'm going to unravel it for you. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of controversy, a lot of talk around it, which personally, as a promoter, I love talk about it. It doesn't matter to me. I love it when people talk. Yeah, but I do understand. So, first of all, let's talk about Poe Denman, Britain Hart. Britain already had a title defense scheduled, so it was very strange for us to announce a fight, even though she hadn't already defended her title. We had another fight before us, but I said to David, look, we're this close, right? We've got to have a big co-main event. This is the one we want because we're just about to run a huge press conference here. We've got to have something. And he said, Nick, you can have the fight, but you've got to understand, first of all, she's got to win. Okay, if she wins, then it's okay. If she doesn't, then we've got to discuss who we're going to use to replace her. Fine. He said, also, you've got to understand this is bare knuckle. Injuries can happen. And I said, yeah, I understand that too. But I was still quite confident we were going to have Poe Denman versus Britain. Anyway, Britain got injured. She moved out. Now, it being a Thailand card with Buakaw and Saenchai, I actually reached out to Fanny Palumpi's management team and they said she wasn't in the country. She wasn't available. Because obviously Fanny Palumpi would have been the first choice to fight Britain because she's already supposed to go and fight her in America, in Montana, but she had problems with the COVID restrictions here, which changed on us last minute. We had no warning. They just changed them when we got to the airport. Well, they did. I was already in Japan when I found out she wasn't coming. Anyway, that long story short, so I was under the belief that Fanny wasn't available. So there's that. So anyway, we went, okay, well, who's next? We want this fight. Poe Denman being a Thai national and probably the only person we've got as a Thai that would even come close to challenging Britain was obviously the next in line. But then when Britain got injured, we're like, okay, what are we going to do now? We still need a big co-main event. So we discussed what we can do. And then Fanny's sister got in touch and I was like, I didn't know she was available. So I contacted Fanny and spoke to her management team and like, yeah, she can be. So I was like, well, let's do that then. So it just happened. There's so much that goes on. Yeah,
it's just like fell in place, right?
It did. And I'll be honest with you, I like this fight better than even bringing Britain over at this time because these two can fight. The winner of this fight gets a fight against Britain. And I think that's the way it should be. And I think it turned out really well.
Nick, I wasn't aware until actually today. I was just doing some research and I was watching back Fanny fights and Poe fights. And I remember Poe Denman fighting at the Bare Knuckle Kingdom card.
Yep.
And then we remember her fighting people. I think she fought a man on Fight Circus. Yeah, Fight Circus. And then she fought Ty. But I ran into a Poe Denman versus Fanny Palumpi boxing match on YouTube, and you guys can find it out there. Go ahead and watch it. They have fought once before. I didn't. And what's funny is it must have been like it must have been an AMI or like a exhibition fight or something because it's not on either one of their records anywhere. I couldn't find it. So, you remember that fight? You saw them banging out for I think it was 5 rounds. You love this pairing between the two of them.
Absolutely. Okay, so I can tell you guys now that you have not seen what Poe Denman is capable of yet. I can promise you that. I mean, she's fought a man, knocked him out of clean straight right or dropped him, and she is just powerful beyond what you can imagine. When you stand there, I mean, I've been around fighters my whole life. I know when a person can hit. She's got an awesome reach and a jab it's a thumping jab. But then you've got Fanny Palumpi, who's actually a legend around these parts. I mean, she is a serious contender for a world title shot. So the fight is crazy. I'm really excited about this one. I forget your question. I went off on a tangent then. What was your question?
I was just bringing up the fact that they had fought once before. So you had seen that pairing. So you like that pairing, right? Like when Britain injured herself and then Fanny's sister calls and pops up, it's like Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do this. Let's run it back.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, this was the great thing about it. I was actually at that fight. I watched them fight, and the fight was good. It was great, but I'm seeing now. Look, so it was a draw. Okay, it was a draw back then. It was boxing rules. So now we're taking the gloves off, and this is for real. This is high stakes now. This is the real deal. So we're talking not only about the Thailand title, we're talking about an almost guaranteed shot at Britain for the world title next. So you're about to see these two settle this score, and which way does it go? I have no idea, but it will be a banger, I tell you.
You know, when we were in Virginia back in March, right, Mike? It was in March when they fought in Norfolk.
Yep. Norfolk, yep.
In the post-fight presser, I asked Britain what's next, and Britain said, I want to go to Thailand and fight Fanny because I was supposed to fight her in Montana. I want to fight her out there, right?
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Then David Feldman gets up on the stage, and I followed it up with him, and I said, Mr. Feldman, you heard what Britain said. She wants to go outside the country. She wants to, go worldwide with this and go fight the Thailand champ. Do you know you couldn't blink your eye before he said no?
Yeah.
He was like, no.
He shut him down right away.
He shut my question down before the period at my sentence came. Before the invisible period ended my sentence, he fucking shut that shit down. And he said, why would I want to do that? If I'm going to do anything, I'll bring them champions here so we could do it on our own soil. What happened? There must have been some sort of conversations between you
Saenchai Buakaw.
Was it just that? Was it Saenchai Buakaw? Was the selling factor that got Britain Hart on a Thailand card? What was it?
All I'm going to tell you is this. Me and David have a very good working relationship. I think we've developed a point now where Dave, he can see how serious I am about the brand, how much I am able to get done, and how hard I'm willing to work. And it's got to a point now where he's willing to support me. If I ask him for something like that, he's willing to say, look, all right, I'm going to go with it because it's you. And basically I asked and begged for that title to happen here. And I think basically I just persuaded him to come round in the end. Right. But I think the big concern is we have had problems with our judges in the past. They don't speak perfect English. We have to use a certain, and they're Muay Thai based. So there's been a little bit of speculation about the judging that's happened here. And I think he's worried. He was concerned about sending over one of his champions to fight a Thai in Thailand against Thai judges. So we've actually got a British judge, an American judge, and one Thai judge now. And they're all qualified boxing professionals. I've had deep discussions with David about how we're going to judge and score this event. And I think it's now David's like, no, I can let this happen. He knows we're going to take care of business. We're going to get it done properly. And the champ's going to come here. She's going to be taken excellent care of. That's if she does come, by the way. She's going to be taken very, very good care of. And she's going to be treated like a champ. And the fight will determine itself.
Well, I could speak for Mike and everybody else back here in the United States. Hopefully she comes back because we hear that it's beautiful out there. And if you go out there with a couple $1,000s in your pocket, you get treated like royalty and you may never come back.
She won't want to come back. There's no question. She will not want to leave Thailand. I promise.
Next thing you know, like Panda Banks and TJ Chang, you're living out there for more than a decade and you don't know where the time's gone.
Yep. It's a beautiful place. The people are great. The food's great, and the fighting culture here is just so deeply ingrained in every facet of society. It's a wonderful place.
It's unbelievable. It really is. And just like as crazy as it was for Bare Knuckle Kingdom to be up on that hill the way it was, the scene there was like one of the most beautiful scenes you'd ever see in your life. Like there's the water view behind. Sure, all the fighters were getting like heat stroke because it was 120 degrees up
very
there.
Hot. You could tell it was hot immediately.
But
I was in there longer than them.
Yeah, you were.
I was in there longer than them. They got no reason to bitch and moan about heat stroke. They're full of shit. They're just making excuses if they had a bad performance because I was in that ring a lot longer than them and I was fine.
We heard all sorts of stories.
I'm telling you, Mike and I were watching that one. I'm like, dude, we got to go to Thailand. We got to get to Thailand to one of these events and check this shit out because it's unbelievable. Now, with that said, can I ask you about the venue? You said that it's sold. I would imagine it sold out like pretty quickly. How big is the arena? It's called the Peach, right? Is it called the Peach?
Yeah, the Pattaya Exhibition and Convention Hall. So my business partner, Kungolf, who is an amazing guy. I mean, I am blessed to have such a great partner. He's become a very good friend of mine, and we've got some even bigger plans for next year. So you think Buakaw and Saenchai is big? We're just only getting started. So there's something to think about. But yeah, so he owns the he owns a 5-star chain of hotels and resorts around Pattaya. They're beautiful. I mean, they're very high level, and they got this awesome convention hall that goes with it. It is state of the art, like the world's fastest internet connectivity. I think 6G or whatever they call it. It is amazing. So we get to use that, and it can hold up to 10,000. However, we're only using half the hall this time because the other half's already been booked out for the same day. So we'll absolutely cram that half of the hall. So we've got well over about 1,500 seats in the building. Every single one of them sold about 2 weeks ago completely. So we're now selling standing tickets where we can get quite a lot more in. So they're selling all the time. I go on the ticket link every hour and I'm like, whoa, we sold a load more.
You know, it's like when we were down in Myrtle Beach, they did a convention center like that. And I want to say that they like thought that they would sell about 1,500 tickets or something like that, and they sold out like instantly. So they're like, you can add 500 more, the convention center. So they sell 500 more. Then they're like, you could sell 500 more. Then you could sell 500 more. And then the day of the event, they had like 3,000 tickets sold, and they're like, we could put 300 more standing room in there if you can sell them. So they sold them that morning. And when you went in there, I don't know if I've ever seen that many people in a convention center. It was absolutely insane. The atmosphere was crazy. The fire marshal had to actually come and open up fucking walking lanes because there were so many damn people in there. So I am sure for a thing like Saenchai and Buakaw that thing is going to be freaking popping. You have one more title fight. We don't want to take all your time here, but tell us about the other title fight Saturday.
Right, so that's a great fight. But before we do, I'm just going to go back to the seating plan. So we've done this seating plan, and we had this clearance down the walkway, and it just went bang, sold out. And I've literally had to put in 40 more tables to try and accommodate all of these requests. And if you watch this event, our tables are much closer to the walkway than they've ever been before. I'm just squeezing all these people in. You'll see that. You'll see. We usually have a 3 or 4 meter clearance from the walkway to the first set of seats. Not this time. We've had to squeeze them in. So there's that. Okay, so look,
cram them in there, Nick. Let's do it.
Squeeze them all in, just like you said. So, okay, the other title fight, I absolutely love this fight. So we had Saenchai, who was our 66 kg title. I wanted him to come and defend it against one of our upcoming fighters, Frankie Sirahat. He's just incredible. Right? He's 2-0 in our events now, and he's won both by knockout. He is a powerhouse at 66, aggressive. They call him the Superman because he keeps doing the Superman punch. That's him on the left there, yeah.
Okay.
So watch out for this kid because he's the real deal. I'm not joking. He is the real deal. Anyway, our champion signed for Thai fight, and he couldn't defend his title. He's going to come back, but he's had to honor a 12-month contract. So it's become vacant. And then Sarun, on the right-hand side of that image there, he's also 2-0, also both wins by knockout. He's a very technical fighter, a bit taller of a reach. And then you got Frankie, who's a very powerful, aggressive fighter. I don't know which way this one's going to go, but someone's going to be crowned a champion, and someone's has got to go, as they say.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
This event is huge. What time is it playing here in the United States for those who are wondering? Because I know it's Saturday morning here, right, Mike?
Yes, it should be Saturday morning.
What do you got, Nick? What time will we be watching it here?
Well, how many time zones have you guys got? Because I struggle, because I was 1 minute talking to David in Philadelphia, and I'm talking to him in New York, and it's like, I have got no idea what date is there. It's like, it varies. But what I can tell you is this. David specifically requested that we push it back because our usual times are no good for anywhere in America. So we've pushed the first fight back to 8 p.m. here, which is about 8 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 9 a.m., depending where you are in the States.
Okay.
Something like that. So it's usually a 12-hour difference. So I can tell you Buakaw and Saenchai will most likely be stepping into the ring between 11 and 11:30 here, which will be the opposite side of the world there.
Okay. So right
Yeah,
before noon here.
You got it. So it's a time where you guys can enjoy it too. I would guess around between 8 and 11 in the morning, most parts of the US, you'll be able to pick this up live.
Yep, I'll be up bright and early, waiting for that. I'll be 2 coffees deep by the time that first fight comes on. I think it's probably going to be like 8 a.m. Eastern. It says 9 on the website, but if you pushed it an hour, it's going to be 8.
You know what I'm going to be doing, Nick? I'm going to be at drill. I have military shit to do Saturday.
Shit.
But
I'm,
calling sick.
No. What I'm gonna. I hope nobody's watching, but right now that I work with, but you will not find me after first formation. I'm gonna do a few things before 9 o'clock in the morning, and from 9 to noon, I'm gonna be a goddamn ghost in that building.
You know what? Go do some work on the computer. You put your phone up, and you just got the fights going. You know.
That's it.
Well, the good thing about the BKFC app is you can replay anytime. That's what I love about it. So sometimes I'm busy here and I miss the American one. So I just tune in about a couple of hours after the event and pick it all up again. It's great. Go
ahead.
So what I was going to say, guys, is we've got the standard format for BKFC, what you've seen many times before from us, from America, from the UK. There's going to be some different stuff happening on this one. We got a certain amount of I'm not going to call it entertainment because it's not. I'm going to call it more tradition and respect for the authorities and the Muay Thai history. So got a little bit of something special coming up on this one. So cool. expect some fun, yeah.
And before we wrap it up with you, do you guys already have some events planned for like the early 2024? Do we have a Thailand 6 already in the works? Do we have any other Asian countries around Thailand, outside of Thailand, that we're going to break ground in 2024, whether it be early 2024 at some point in 2024?
Absolutely. So we're very, very deep in discussions with the Philippines, even to the point where we've even secured a venue or located one. So expect the Philippines and watch out for these guys. These guys are coming in a hard way. They're not going to be doing the Muay Thai. These guys are coming to box or not box, the traditional or the actual BKFC rules. And some of these fellas ain't looking at Asia. They're looking at the US. They're coming for you boys. So watch out for them. They're brutal. We've got the Cambodians as well. We've got a beautiful spot in Cambodia. We've discussed even running one at Angkor Wat, which is one of the 6 wonders of the world. So expect something to be happening there too. But as for next year, Thailand, are we going to be running BKFC Thailand 6 or are we going to be running BKFC Bare Knuckle Taiwan? Who knows?
Oh yeah, that's
right. I can't wait to hear more news about this for sure. And and one last thing, are there any other American fighters that have been talked about other than Britt and Hart about maybe bringing them over, maybe Christine Faria or one of the fellas, maybe like, I don't know if you got anybody big enough for, or you got some heavyweights out there, but I was going to say like Lorenzo Hunt or somebody like that coming over there to Thailand and showing off his skill over there. You got any names?
That's a great question. I'm not going to give you boys any names, but there's been a lot of talk. I mean, as I say, I've got this great relationship with Mr. Feldman. He's just brilliant. So if I have an idea, as long as I can give him solid reasons why we should do something, he's always willing to listen. And he'll say, let me think about it. He'll go away. 99% of the time he's come back, he said, Nick, get it done. Because I have this way of just convincing people to do what I need them to do. And he loves the ideas. He supports me. So yeah, look, we've discussed many people coming over. There's going to be a lot of exciting things happening next year. I cannot give you any names, but just stay tuned.
Well, I just gave you a few names. I'm going to sell one. I'm going to sell one.
For the record, I didn't give you any of those names. You gave them to me.
Okay. Salesman Kyle's going to tell you that Christine Faria at 125 pounds is very hard to find her an opponent here in the United States. She has basically run through everybody, and she went the distance with Britain, but that's about the only one. And she's going to be fighting Beck Rollins, but she comes from a Thai fighting background. She's an undefeated pro at like 8-0, 10-0 in Muay Thai fighting. If BKFC Thai 1 kicks off in 2024, all you got to do is call Jules Gray, Just call up Jules.
She'll be on tomorrow.
Call up Jules and say, Jules, we need your girl over here.
Yeah, she's great. She's always there. Same with I think it's Britain's mother, Monica. Is it? She's just amazing.
Monica, she's in comments right now.
She's in the comments. And hi, Monica, because she's just been brilliant. She's so communicative. She's so supportive, and she's such a pleasant person to work with. She always relays information to Britain because Britain's quite busy. So she's been great, and Jules as well. Jules is always active and keeping things moving. And it's guys like that that keep these sports together. Hey, it's great. So I've actually thought the same thing. Like Christine Ferrier, she's an absolute fan of Muay Thai. It's what she started doing, I believe. So yeah, I would definitely be approaching Dave about bringing her over at some point to do Muay Thai.
I want to say that last time she was on the show, we talked about the Buakaw Saenchai fight, and she said that Buakaw is her favorite fighter of all time.
I think it was the original fight that she was like crazy about.
Yeah, she was like she was fangirling out about that, and I don't think she'll punch me. I don't think she'll punch me in the face for saying that because it's true.
Nah, she's brilliant. I actually sent her a pair of signed gloves after I saw her response when we signed Buakaw. I sent her a signed pair of BKFC signed boxing gloves from Buakaw.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's very cool.
She's 13-0 kickboxing, by the way.
13-0. See, there you go. Perfect.
Wow. So we're gonna have to find some stiff competition for her. Yeah. But I think we've got it here in Muay Thai. I think we've got that.
I think you got a stable of them over there. Panda, we going to see him back in there soon, or is he coming stateside? What do you know about what about Steve Panda Banks?
I love the man. He's a very good friend of mine. He's the greatest person to work with. But the gym that he was working at, where he was sponsored and had like a visa to stay, they shut down recently after COVID just ransacked through the industry here. It's such a fantastic gym. So he's actually back stateside now. He's back in the US. Yeah, I'm looking forward to him coming back. He is always welcome at my dinner table, let alone in my ring. So let's see what happens with him. Yeah.
All right, good. That answers a comment question from one of the fans. They were asking about Panda. Another. This guy is kind of like a fan favorite over here in the United States, but nobody really knows him much. But TJ Hellboy Chang is on this card. What do you got to say about TJ making his way back into the BKFC ring?
TJ is a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine. I love the guy. He just knows how to hyper fight. The people love him. When he walks into the ring in Pattaya, the place erupts. I mean, he'll do hundreds of tickets, but it's equally as many people want to see him lose as want to see him win. But from a promoter's perspective, I'm all about that. Like, I don't care. Buy a ticket. You want to see him lose? Buy a ticket. You want to see him win? Buy a ticket. Guaranteed at least half of those people are going to be happy. Now, it's an interesting fight, this. It's a very interesting fight. Christoph is on that card, or actually, other than Johan Marin, who's an out-and-out psychopath. Christoph is, I'll tell you about him in a second. He's mental. Christoph is the coldest motherfucker we've got on this card. He's a war veteran. He's been sleeping in ditches, and I'm not joking. And he's here sleeping in the corner of a gym. And he said, "I will fight TJ for free. I cannot stand that man." They got beef, like personal beef from before.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I said, "You're not getting in my ring for free. I'm going to pay you." But he's very tall. He's done like King of the Street stuff where biting's legal and stomping. Like shoes, and they fight on concrete with bare knuckles. It's mental. He's done left way, which is headbutts and almost bare knuckles. He's a hard man. So TJ's got his work cut out on this fight, and it's personal.
Wow, man, exciting. And then another last name that was brought up in the comment section. Somebody said they're excited to see Johnny Tello back in there. What do you got to say about him?
Honestly, listen, I'm hyped about this. So we had Kevin Soleimani, who I really like and respect, and he's been on at me about getting back on the card. But I only had someone around this weight category, and he accepted. For personal reasons, he had to pull out. And I'll be honest with you, I always wanted Johnny on this card anyway. I wanted Johnny on. And when he pulled out, I was like, Johnny. I went straight at Johnny, and Johnny didn't even hesitate. He went, "I'm in." Didn't even ask how much. Didn't ask who. He just said, "I'm in. I'm on the card." Yeah.
I was going to ask you if he even asked the opponent's name. He didn't ask, huh?
Don't care. Does not care. He didn't care. He said, "Yeah, I'm on 100%. Put me in." He said, "I'm going to put this beard down now, and I'll get in the gym in the morning." That was only 2 weeks ago.
So he's fighting this guy right here on the left, right? So Soleimani's out for everybody watching. and Tello's in. I didn't have a full like one of these pictures for Tello.
For Tello,
but
yeah.
That guy won a bonus, right? Last time he fought Sawatsup. How do you say his name? Did he? Did you give him a bonus the last time he fought? Did he fight another guy and you gave them a bonus?
Yeah, he's incredible. Okay, this guy. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about this guy because this is great because I don't get enough time, or we haven't got a big enough budget to give the background stories on all of these guys. But I can tell you, Sawatsup. Okay, he was on death row in Thailand. He was serving on death row for murder. So he killed a man. Excuse me. And during his time in prison, he joined the fight team, and he fought so hard and so well that they reduced his sentence, and he eventually got out after 13 years. And he literally fought his way out of prison. No joke, you could do that in Thailand, but it takes a lot.
They made I think they made a documentary about.
He's in the film. He's in the film A Prayer Before Dawn. He's actually in that movie. He's like the big boss at the end of the movie that fights the English guy. And anyway, so he got out. He's won multiple titles at different weight levels. He's an absolute beast. And he fought on an event where Buakaw debuted, and he cut his opponent. He's in the ring laughing at him, pointing at his cut to saying, "I just cut you." He's cold, but his boxing's incredible. And when Johnny stepped in against this guy, for me, I think this is fight of the night.
Wow.
I can't wait for it.
Shit.
I tell you.
Man, you guys, if you're not watching this event, if you don't have the app already, if you're watching this show, you have the app, I'm sure. But if you're listening to this on Spotify afterwards, get the damn app. You're not going to want to miss this event. It's absolutely insane. The main event, like we said earlier today, is something that you never see in combat sports. You never see two guys with a laundry list of accolades that these guys have. I mean, Buakaw is a damn movie star on top of fucking winning 240 damn fights in multiple world titles. Saenchai is, considered a god. They might both be considered a god. So this is something that like everybody must see. One last thing we got to ask you about before we go. Last thing, I promise.
Mike
and I were talking about this. We should bring this up. The documentary on Nat Geo.
Yes.
Trafficked.
Right.
Yeah. What did you think about
Mariana Van Zeller?
What did you think about the whole thing? How it was portrayed? Like, some people thought that they tried to paint you guys in a bad light. What are your thoughts, Nick, about the way that product come out?
That's a really, really good question. So, okay, let me start from the beginning. I was locations producer for this particular documentary with Maria Van Zeller before I even started working with BKFC. I was actually helping her infiltrate the underground street fight gangs. I then become the CEO and took on BKFC, but it got postponed, this whole filming process, because of COVID. So after COVID bounced out, we were still talking and we jumped back on. And I said, well, look, I'm running BKFC and I've got these two street fight guys. I'm given an opportunity on the biggest bare knuckle platform on the planet. And they said, right. So for me, it was like an angle to get them in and get some promo for BKFC. Now, guys, I'm no fool. I might look like one, but I'm not stupid. I've been around these type of people a lot, and I see how they have an agenda. Doesn't matter what they tell you, they're going to do what they want to do. So it's interesting because she interviewed Dave, and then she come here and she filmed with us for the whole week. We went all these underground street fights, and it was amazing. And then they give me this waiver and they said, can you sign this before we do it? And I looked at it, I went, no fucking way am I signing that, because I know she's got a narrative and she's going to follow it and she's going to throw me under a bus and she don't care. But that's not disrespecting her. It's her job. I get it. So I said, no, I'm not signing that. And it was, honestly, they had the whole thing filmed, edited and cut, and they were back in the US. And even Mr. Feldman was going, Nick, why haven't you signed the waiver? They can't finish the documentary. I said, Dave, I'm not signing it until they promise me to remove 3 points, because they will throw me under the bus. I said, I'm not doing it. And they literally thought I was going to fold. And I went, no, I don't care. Don't film it. I don't care. Don't air it. In the end, they come around to my terms, and they couldn't say or portray me in a certain way. So if you watch the documentary, they threw Dave under the bus and didn't make me look too bad, because I wasn't stupid enough to sign the contract. Dave wasn't stupid. It was my fault, because I should have explained to him what I think their narrative was. So that's kind of on me. And I didn't actually know what he'd said, because I didn't get a chance to see any of it or know what was said. But I knew I wasn't going to sign that waiver, because they could have said what they wanted about me. And they can edit you to look a certain way. So I was very disappointed with how they portrayed the US side, and I knew nothing about them including heroin dealers into it. I mean, what the hell's that got to do with bare knuckle fighting? But they did. But I think in terms of the Thailand side, I don't think it was that bad at all.
No, I thought so too. Go ahead, Mike. What'd you think?
I was gonna say I had mixed feelings about it. I thought it was done well, of course. It's Nat Geo, so they've got a high budget. It was done well. I liked the whole thing, but yes, she did try to towards the end. She tried to wrap Dave up into making it seem like he's taking people off the streets and just making them fight like blood money, basically, like just making them. I feel like he kind of answered the questions okay. He did get wrapped up a little bit, but then he was like, like, what am I supposed to do? You're saying everybody comes from the streets at some point. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. She really did try to make it seem bad, but I didn't think it came off too bad, to be honest.
No. I love what you just said there, Mike, because I completely agree. I didn't know what was being said or what was happening in the US. All I knew that was she was meeting Dave. But I knew what she was trying to do here with us, and I was all over that. But when I watched it back, I thought Dave literally got put in the firing line. But Dave being Dave, I think he swung that round and handled that very well, considering I don't think he was prepared for it, but I think he absolutely dealt with it very well. But as I say, I put 3 points in the contract. I wouldn't sign it until she agreed because I just knew how she could edit it. But yeah, I thought it was good. It could have been better, and it wasn't. I mean, let's get it right. Look, it's Nat Geo. They're not there to promote BKFC. They're there to sell a story. So I knew that. 10 months it took her to get me to sign that waiver because I would not budge.
They actually called us up one day. They got in touch with, I don't know, Kyle. Did they get in touch with you? And then you said, my partner on the show, we can talk to you guys. So they called us up. And we talked on the phone with a couple of people, and I can't remember their names. Do you remember?
I want to say twice we did. So they called me. They got a hold of me first, and I'm like, "How the fuck did you guys find me?" First of all, and then they're like, the lady was asking me if I can do a Zoom call with her and like 2 other producers, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna do it without Mike. I'm one half of the Mike and Mish show. So if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me and him at the same time." And they said fine, so we set up a date, and we did. I want to say, didn't we do 2 of them, Mike? We talked to them twice.
I think you might have talked to them, and then we talked together because I remember being at my daughter's dance. She was at her dance, and I'm outside the day, like talking on the phone, walking around. But they were very nice, but there were a lot of times where they kept trying to pull us into like, what about this side? What about this? Like they kept trying to pull it to like the underground illegal, like,
right.
What do you think about this? And I don't know. I did feel like at that point they might have had some sort of, an angle they were trying to hit, but
yeah, for sure.
They didn't use us obviously at
and
all.
We kept telling them, listen, we don't work for them. We are an independent podcast that covers the sport that just ended up like kind of doing well with it. You know what I mean? Like we got put on their app. They asked us to be on their app because they like our product and they like the way we promote their sport. But that doesn't mean that we work for them or we could speak for them or any of that shit. So we don't know what any of the shit that you're talking about is. We can tell you all about the events and all about the fighters that we know. And that's about it. And they ended up not using any of our shit. So
yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I can tell you this: if I had signed their original waiver, that would have been a lot worse.
Wow.
And I knew that. From the beginning, and it was a very fine line, risky business. And when you watch the edit, if you knew the discussions we'd had and how they tried to make me sign this waiver, and then when I made my requests, they pushed it to the absolute limit because we would have gone for them if they'd have said it in any other way. Because it's very easy to make us look bad. It's bare knuckle, and we're helping them infiltrate underground street fight gangs. It's like it could make us look very, very bad. So, yeah, I think she's very disappointed that she didn't get me to sign because I think she's used to dealing with people that would probably just sign and go, "Hey, we're on Nat Geo." Well, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I'm going to be on TV. Yeah.
No, I've been on TV now, but I don't need that.
Thank you. Dude, hey, this has been a phenomenal interview with you. We really needed to get to talk to you before this amazing event. at this point, I'm going to just thank you for giving us a full hour of your time, but we'll give you an opportunity to say some final words to the audience that's watching right now, but the people that are going to watch this back and listen on Spotify, exactly why they need to tune in a couple days from now.
Well, before I do you mind if I just mention one more person we got on the card? I mean, we got an incredible lineup. I've handpicked all these people and put them together myself. Their background stories are just awe-inspiring, but there's one guy, I went to see him in his gym, Johan Marin. Okay, he's fighting Poirier Rochter, how you say his name, but so Poirier is a well-renowned boxing coach. So Poirier's on the left from Iran. Now this guy on the right, I went to see him at his gym and he stood to attention. I'm like, as you were. And he and he was in the French Foreign Legion for 7 years. He was fighting for them for the whole time he was there. And he, in his mind, believes that BKFC has sent him back on another mission to destroy the enemy. Like, I've actually said, get me a camera and film this guy because he's mental. He was in the national team. You know this medieval stuff where you hit each other with axes and stuff? He was in that national team doing that. But honestly, watch the video clip on my wall. He was in the French. I'm in the French Foreign League. They want to thank BKFC for sending me back to mission. And I've said to the referee, like, you want to be on this motherfucker because he's not going in there to fight. This guy's going in there he's going to war in his mind. So watch out for that fight. I've got no idea how that's going to go. You up?
Did you say that was on your Instagram?
It's on my Facebook page. It will be on my Instagram because it links. Yeah.
Okay.
See if you can find it because he's mental. He's like a Terminator, like a medieval Terminator. It's insane.
Yeah, I'll have to find it and we'll have to share it.
Yeah, anybody that's watching, all his social medias are at the bottom of the screen right now, so go check that video out. Unbelievable interview with you, Nick. You're always full of information, and you're doing amazing things in Thailand and all of Asia. We can't wait to see where you go next. Do you have any last words you want to say before we let you get out of here?
All I want to say, guys, is thank you to you two for having me on today. Honestly, I really appreciate everything you do for this sport and everyone that's watching. Honestly, look, we are nothing without you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've always appreciated the fans as much as I do the job that I do. So thank you all so much. And as we say in Thailand, kapun kab.
Thank you so much, man. Mike, do you have anything else for Nick?
Nah, thank you so much. I love the BKFC Thailand product. I think it looks great. The one thing that I would love to see is to get the commentators in-house. I would love to see that. It works with satellite, but I want to see them next to the ring. It's just a little bit different, you know? But it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for you didn't have to give us an hour of your time, but you did, and we appreciate that. We will talk to you soon. Hopefully, you'll have some fight news for us after this big weekend, all right?
Will do.
Take it easy, buddy.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
There he is, Nick Headhunter Chapman. That was fucking awesome, Mike.
Yeah.
That was
I know he said like, oh, I've got time right now. This is a good time to get me. And we kept talking because we originally were like, probably about a half an hour. And then an hour later, we're still here. And it's like, then he was like, oh, I want to talk about another fight. It's like, well, if you want to talk about all of them, let's do it. Because we got them all ready to go.
You know, I mean,
to all the stories.
We haven't done like a long form interview like that with anybody since David Feldman in December, right? When we
always share the show for the most part,
right? With David, I think he gave us I think we did almost an hour with him, but that was the last time. Every time we talk now, it's 15-20 minutes, and that's it. And I thought we were going to get 20 minutes out of him, maybe a half an hour because of how busy it is. But we talked to Nick right before he came on, and he was like, believe it or not, Thursday before the event is kind of like the calm before the storm. It's like, for some reason, I'm busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with the venue and everything and blah, blah, blah. Thursday is kind of like a down day where fighters are traveling, fighters are getting ready to weigh in for the next day. And he's like, honestly, this was the perfect day for you guys to grab me. So we appreciate him for sure.
Love it.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, guys, we got another one, sort of like this one. We booked 2 interviews this week because we had a lot to talk about with both of these people. Tomorrow night, we're going to have the women's division coordinator for the BKFC, Jules Gray, who we mentioned in that interview with Nick. Jules is coming on, And like Mike and I, we interact with Jules a lot. And I'm going to tell you, I'm hoping that we could pull some information out of her tomorrow, because we know that there's some names, some fighters out there that are in conversations. And you just pay attention to tomorrow night, man. We're going to do another one with Jules. We'll see how much time she gives us. She's going to be down in Orlando for BKFC 53. So,
it'll be after weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to have a lot to talk about. So, hey, very well could go another hour. It could be a good one. We can get some information.
What I want you guys to do as an audience, man, have questions ready for the comment section tomorrow night. Sometimes I miss the comments and I miss the questions in the comment section. I try my hardest, but we do want to give all our undivided attention to who we're talking to on the show. But tomorrow night, the growth of the women's division is very important to the fan base, and we need to know, like, if certain new fighters are coming in, or if any released fighters from UFC or Bellator or PFL are on the free agent market, and you might want to see them in the bare knuckle squared circle. Drop it in the comments tomorrow night. Ask the question, and we'll do our best to keep our eye on that comment section and ask Jules. And what's the best? What's the worst that she could do? Say no, can't.
Yeah, she'll probably take a little note. She might come back to the show and write down all the names and go, all right, let me research all these people.
Right.
Maybe I haven't seen these people yet.
Absolutely, dude.
We do it.
I listen. I do it a lot with her, and I'll be like, yo, you should talk to this fighter. And she'll be like, send me her information. And I'll go and I'll send her Instagram profile, her box rec profile, her Tapology profile, and I'll send her damn fucking Wikipedia if she has one. And I'll say, Jules, look into this fighter, because I'm a fan and I want to see that fighter in the in the BKFC squared circle. So I'm telling you, she's very receptive. And tomorrow night's going to be great, because she has done really big things for the women's division. She's making the 115 division grow finally. Yeah, see, Big Ben's already in there.
Felice Herrig, yes.
Yeah.
The name that we are absolutely going to talk about tomorrow. So better believe it. Weili Zhang, I don't think that's going to happen within the next 3 years or 4.
I do like this comment by Swervo, because if you guys remember when I interviewed Thug Rose out in Denver, I asked her and I asked Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, of all people, was like, no, right away. That ain't for me. I'm a wrestler. He said, I'm a wrestler. When I'm done fighting MMA, I'm going to grappling. I don't think that's for me. Thug Rose, on the other hand, she goes, well, anything's possible. I would never say no to anything. That I was like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. All these fighters are still under contract with the UFC, though. That's the issue with these three.
That's the thing. Yeah. So, anyways, man, what a fantastic interview with Nick, and what he was saying, like, this fight this weekend is historic. Yes, they're 41 and 43, but they're still the top of the Thai kickboxing world. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and they're selling out huge stadiums and arenas. What was the YouTube video you were watching today at break when we were watching? Was it at break or at lunch? You were watching a Buakaw documentary, and
I don't know what it was called, and I apologize, because I wish I could give whoever made it some props. But if you just look, it was a good one. It was like a 45-minute documentary on Buakaw. And it talks about
fight after fight,
dude. It talked, the guy's been hosed a few times by judges, and he has 240 wins and 14 losses or something like that. I could tell you right now that
14 draws.
14 draws. 20.
How the hell you get 14 draws?
Yeah, 240 wins, 24 losses, 14 draws. Watch that documentary. He absolutely mollywopped this fucking dude in the championship fight of a Grand Prix, and just completely manhandled the dude. And then it goes to the judges and they raise the other guy's fucking hand. If that's not just corruption to the 1000th degree, it's what it just proves judges aren't just corrupt in boxing. or an MMA. It's in every combat sport in every fucking place in the world, dude. So, go watch that. Just look up Buakaw documentary. I'm sure it's probably one of the top ones. It's a really good one. It talks about his upbringing. Like, he started actively fighting at 8 years old. He was being basically like not held hostage. He was like being his gym would not release him from like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like
he was a kid, right?
He was like a prisoner to that gym. Like they felt like they owned the rights to him because he had been training in that gym for so long, and he wanted out. And like he went to bat for other, kids coming up training to have freedom, and he ended up getting released from that gym and opening his own gym and making it a place for people to not get fucked with. It was pretty good, dude. It was a good documentary. And then there's another good one on Saenchai out there. You can watch that one too. Saenchai, that dude's just something else, man. That guy's just fucking something else. He's got a lot of charisma. He fucks around in the ring. He plays a lot. Some people call him the Muay Thai Joker. The cartwheel kicks are insane. The guys he's fighting, when we talked about it with Nick earlier with those size differences, the people that are saying that Buakaw's too big for Saenchai, go watch that documentary and go see some of the guys that this fucking dude's fought. They're like 9 inches taller than him and like 2 weight classes up, and he's just fucking murking these guys. So you guys are all in for a treat on Saturday for sure.
That's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be fights till we go to bed, and we're going to wake up to fights.
Yeah. Great. Carmine liked the word mollywop.
Yeah, Carmine. There we go.
Yeah, mollywop that motherfucker. I'm telling you. So hey, tomorrow, I promise, tomorrow night we're gonna catch. Yeah, he beat me unmerciful. He tied me to the pier and made me wait for high tide. Tomorrow night, I know we talked all about Thailand tonight. Tomorrow night we'll talk about Friday's event, Orlando, because we're going to have Jules coming on after the weigh-ins, and we'll talk about Orlando tomorrow night. With that said, Mike, I think we basically did enough tonight. You got anything else for the peeps?
I'm ready to call it a night. So peace.